everyone at the C.R.E.D conference. We're so excited to be here. This is our team with the Heritage Language speakers can earn the Global Competence Certificate and the Global Seal of Biliteracy. So we're a group of educators from Washington, and one of us also lives in Oregon, and we'll be telling you about this really exciting grant opportunity that we have just begun preparations for. We'll be launching it in the coming weeks. My name is Michele Aoki, and I'm the lead on the grant in terms of organizing our team. And we're working in partnership with a school district, Evergreen Public Schools, which we'll be telling you about more in just a moment. But I'd like to begin with where it all started. And Roseanne Royer is going to introduce herself and tell you a little bit about the connection with the Ethnic Heritage Council.
Well, hello, everybody. It's really exciting to see how it started in front of the name of your organization. The Ethnic Heritage Council is celebrating its 40th anniversary in this auspicious year. So many things we couldn't do because of what's happening out there. But we're involved with this program as a partner, and it's very exciting. The mission of Ethnic Heritage Council is to preserve and share ethnic heritage to enhance mutual understanding. And if you look at the bottom of the slide, it's sort of our tribute to heritage languages, as is written here, the most precious carriers of the diverse cultures that enrich our daily experiences and connect us to the rest of the world. And we take it for granted that the ethnic communities are out there, and some of them are trying to do programs, some of them just can't, but we know that that language is the most precious thing that they have, and they do want their children to maintain it. So our programs are one that are ongoing, are the History Keepers workshops, where we support ethnic communities to document their local experiences, their histories, their local histories. And then we have roundtables, which are bi-monthly and on different subjects, and usually feature a speaker. And one day we featured Otilia and Michele on heritage languages. It led to a second session where we had a representative from the superintendent's office attending, and she informed us of this grant, and Michele, Otilia went to work on it, and here we are. And how the Ethnic Heritage Council will be involved is in outreach to the communities that represent the languages that are being offered. And also, hopefully, maybe we'll be past COVID by then, but maybe a conference at the end where everyone can describe the experience that they had with this program.
So let us tell you just a little bit about this first time ever heritage language grants that were offered by our State Office of Superintendent of Public Instruction. They came to that session and announced in early June 2020 that they were going to be offering 6 grants, $60,000 each. And we had to work very quickly over the summer to put our proposal together. Eventually in August, we found out that they had funded 6 grants out of 12 applications that were submitted. I should just mention that one of the things we talked about is that we really wanted to make sure that people were applying for these grants, because it's really important for the state legislature to know that people care about having these opportunities. So part of the reason we applied is just to make that statement that this matters. And so we were very pleasantly surprised when it turned out that our partner district, Evergreen Public Schools, got the grant approved. And we were partnering with several community-based organizations. Our key one was actually the American Romanian Cultural Society, and Otilia is here representing that. But because Spanish is the most widespread heritage language in the state, and also in Evergreen Public Schools, they were eager for us to include Spanish. And as part of the team, I've been working with Russian heritage language programs for quite a long time. And so we also wanted to include Russian. And as it happens, Russian, Romanian, and Moldovan and Spanish are all languages that are heritage languages found in Evergreen Public Schools, which is a district actually in Vancouver, Washington, right near Portland. So Otilia, tell us a little bit about what's in our graphic here.
Thank you, Michelle. So I am Otilia Baraboy. I am very happy to be part of this team to represent the Ethnic Heritage Council. I'm on the board, and also the American Romanian Cultural Society that has a community-based school that we started in 2016. So we're looking forward to this partnership with Evergreen School. We hope to have 10 students from Evergreen Public School and 10 students from all over Washington State that will be brought to the program through our awareness efforts and community outreach. We will hopefully will start the beginning of December to gather the first groups and propose a list of projects that the students can work on. We have a few in mind. This is a student-driven program, so we want them to make a decision that corresponds perfectly with their interests and their curiosity about their heritage culture. So we will propose a list of projects. For instance, they could explore Romanian film, because our organization also started the Romanian Film Festival 7 years ago. Or I think World Affairs Council has a very interesting list of choices where they can write essays on different topics to investigate global issues. We could connect them to high schoolers in Romania so they can interview each other on different topics. Again, we are very curious to find out what their interests are and start building from there. And in the end, we hope that all these heritage languages will have common ground and maybe a common presentation, as like Roseanne said, and we will be able to meet each other in the post-pandemic world to celebrate the Global Competence Certificate that they will be awarded through World Affairs Council.
And Otilia, this is Roseanne. Just to clarify, it's 20 students per each of these 3 languages.
Exactly.
Not
yes.
a total of 20.
Yes, 20 students.
Will have 20.
Yeah.
Great. And our image here, you can see, really brings together how we're connecting community organizations like the World Affairs Council and the Ethnic Heritage Council, the American Romanian Cultural Society, with the public school district and also the Office of Superintendent of Public Instruction. So this is a picture of our Heritage Grant team from the summer when we were first getting together to get going. So there are several representatives for Romanian and Russian. Roseanne is over there, and Svetlana for Russian, our lead instructor, Ryan Hauk, whom you'll meet in a moment, from the World Affairs Council, and Eduardo Viana da Silva, who is a Portuguese instructor actually at the University of Washington, but is a really expert on working with heritage language students. And he's also our Teacher of the Year in Washington this year. So we've got a great team. And this is a summary of what we proposed. So the key things were that we wanted to do this project-based curriculum where it's really student-driven. They are activities that they use the language for that have a purpose, that have an interest and result in presentations before interested audiences. We had already decided in June that we would offer the program online. Thank goodness we did that, because obviously we're not in a position to meet. But what that opened up to us was the opportunity to make it available to students across the state. The personalization, I think Otilia already talked about. So we know that when working with heritage learners, they come to you and they may all speak pretty comfortably, but some of them will be good readers and writers, some not so familiar there. And we want to meet the students where they are and help take them forward. So over the year, all of the things that they'll be doing will help contribute to them creating something that's actually a personal portfolio that we call the Global Competence Certificate that is actually going to be introduced here in just a moment by Ryan Hauk from the World Affairs Council. And I just want to say that another important part of the grant is for us to develop learning plans and activities, the curriculum, resources, so that we can share those probably through the Open Educational Resources Hub, so that people might be inclined to try this kind of program in other community settings, but also in school programs. And actually, you'll hear in a moment how Pedro Lopez Chavez has already been offering this Global Competence Certificate to his students at a high school. So introducing the Global Competence Certificate for Heritage Language Speakers. And I'm going to ask Ryan to kind of take it from here and tell you more about this.
Thank you, Michelle. Hi, I'm Ryan Hauk, and I direct the Global Classroom Program at the World Affairs Council in Seattle. It's a pleasure to be with you, and I'm very, very excited about this program. So the Global Competence Certificate is a program that we piloted in 2016, 2017, and it's really an opportunity for students to really reflect on their global learning. And that global learning is really framed around 4 different pillars of global competence that we've utilized from the Asia Society. So students have the opportunity to explore the world. They have an opportunity to reflect on their academic learning. They have an opportunity to reflect on their language learning. They also have an opportunity to reflect on their experiences of some sort of cross-cultural nature, either locally in our own community or perhaps even globally if they've had some travel experiences. It's really an opportunity for students to really think about and reflect on how these experiences have helped shape their own global competence as they prepare to be, actively engaged citizens in our own community, but also at the national and global level. So here you see those 3 components again. You've got global learning, these 3 requirements. You've got international engagement, and then you've got language and intercultural learning, which I'm really excited about for this particular program because we've got these heritage languages, and it'll be interesting for students to perhaps create part of their portfolio in one of these heritage languages. We've got lots of more resources at the website here on the bottom of the slide, and we would welcome you to take a look at that website and look at the resources that we have.
Thank you, Ryan. And so why do we think this is relevant to heritage language speakers? Well, one of the things is that the process of putting together this Global Competence Certificate portfolio, which is actually delivered as a website, is that allows students to explore and share their identity, their language, their intercultural and international experiences, and also to delve into issues of global significance and high academic rigor. So it can really appeal to students for a variety of reasons, things closer to home, like interviewing members of their family, or dealing with issues like the global pandemic, for example. It also taps into their creativity because they're going to create a website. We use a free website, one of the many free website tools that are out there. And that gives them the chance to really think about how to communicate with text, images, and video, and gives them an authentic experience of presentational communication, both what they're writing and presenting and loading up to their website, but also with videos, and certainly when they actually present it to our team, they'll have a chance to speak in a very formal way, something that heritage learners often don't have a chance to do. So just having that Global Competence Certificate as both an endpoint and also something to organize us and around the process is something that we think will be very effective for this particular program. We know it's relevant to heritage language speakers because we have some experience with that. And I'm going to ask Pedro in just a moment to tell about his experience offering this project to his students at Chief Sealth International High School in Seattle. But just this spring, when Ryan and I decided to relaunch the project during the COVID-19 pandemic, I mean, it was partially because people they were out of school actually for several weeks before people finally figured out in our state that people would have to go to school because they couldn't wait until it was over to start again. And so during that little window of time, we thought it would be interesting to offer something interesting for students to do. And we had several students come and to our information sessions and all. This particular student, Santoshi, she came once, and about 2 weeks later, she came back with her website, had wonderful examples of her heritage languages, Telugu and Hindi. And that was part of what showed us what she got out of the experience. So you can go and look at her certificate that she's drafted so far. But Pedro, tell us a little bit more about your students. I know they were doing it in English for presentational purposes, but they had been in the Spanish program for their entire school life, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, actually, this experience was trying to fit in the program after, because I'm teaching to the seniors the IB there's the high level of IBs, so they have to be prepared for the test. And then after that, for mid-May through mid-June, till the end of the school year, I propose them to work on this global competence certificate. I mean, we couldn't develop as much as I wanted, but I know it was a good experience for the students. They learned, they appreciated what they have been doing for the last few years. I mean, participating in the dual language, being part of a heritage learners community, and also being able to compare constantly what is the real life. They are having two cultures that they have to be able to live with. They talk with their parents in one language, they talk with their siblings, with their friends in another language. They have to put all of that together. And then they were able also to reflect what they have been learning through the dual language program, even in elementary school. I think it was a great experience for them, and coming right in their senior year was a point of appreciation for their schooling. And that's why it's a great option and opportunity for these students, for the heritage learners.
That's great. And when I listened to their presentations and they talked about what it had meant to them throughout their schooling to have a chance to have classes that were in Spanish, to have their language and culture really valued, I just realized that, you know, we don't offer enough opportunities for students to really reflect and think about the experience they've had. So this is really all about reflection. The reflection is the most important thing, because students will have had any number of experiences in their lives, whether it's classroom assignments they've done or experiences with family or in the community. But the important thing is not to just document that, but to reflect on it. What did it mean to you? How did it influence your thinking going forward, and so on? So we're very excited about that aspect. We have another dimension to this that we'd like to, I just want to bring and share at this point, which is one of our partners, Eduardo, I mentioned, Eduardo Viana da Silva, has done this work with the Global Competence Matrix, which is a tool that was developed in partnership with the Asia Society about 10 years ago. It's used pretty widely around the country with these the four domains of global competence: investigate the world, recognize perspectives, communicate ideas, and take action. And he has a very interesting paper that he co-authored around using that tool to help students in a virtual exchange between Brazil and his classes in the United States to consider issues where they didn't just report on those issues at a superficial level, but got much deeper, because as they thought of each of those aspects, it allowed them to use the language in more sophisticated ways, but also to understand the issues beyond the typical stereotype. So Eduardo is actually going to be doing a program for us in November, and he'll be part of our team, just helping us be creative and think outside the box about things to do. So this is just, you could say this whole experience is for all of us sort of a test bed to try some creative things and see how they work. And if they work well, we'll be definitely sharing them. So the ultimate goals for the project, as you probably gathered, are for students to have the opportunity to complete the Global Competence Certificate portfolio website and present it to our team from our group, plus the World Affairs Council team. We expect and hope it will be bilingual. It will at least be in the heritage language, or as much as they can. And but they may have multilingual, and many of them will have studied other languages in school too. So we hope they include those kinds of experiences. The other thing that's unique about this program is that we will be testing the students for the proficiency assessment, and our aim is that many of them will qualify for the Global Seal of Biliteracy. And since we're presenting at the C.R.E.D conference, and this is really all about credentialing, I'll just say a few words about the Global Seal of Biliteracy and why it's so relevant to us in this program. The Global Seal provides a consistent, inclusive, and accessible solution that expands a language credential to bilinguals worldwide of any age. So in our state, we do have a state seal of biliteracy in Washington, which is wonderful, but students don't actually earn it until they graduate high school as seniors then. So we'd like these students, many of whom will be 9th or 10th graders, to have a chance to have the recognition a little earlier in their career, so they can take that forward to college applications and job applications and so on. will be the assessments that we use are also assessments that qualify for the Global Seal of Biliteracy. We think that some of the students may also like the college credit option that the Global Seal of Biliteracy has, and so it will be just a chance to make this a little bit more visible. So now I'd like Otilia just to tell us a little bit more about the things that people can expect in Romanian and just the things that you've been doing with Romanian language classes.
Oh, thank you, Michelle. We have a program, it's a summer camp actually, that we've put together with the Romanian nonprofit. And it is again the Film Connection that brought us together. So we like to use our other programs to inform our educational programs. So this summer camp is on filmmaking, and it is through filmmaking that the kids were exploring their Romanian identity and heritage. And here you can see a picture of the kids filming on campus at the University of Washington. We have a partnership with Recast, the Ellison Center, and the Slavic department. And also they were able to use these films and to show them at the Romanian Film Festival. And you see the entire team, you know, on the stage at SIF Cinema Uptown presenting their films. And yes, so this is the type of project that you can expect. Again, so it has to be something quite hands-on, something that has a final product in the end, and something they can share with their community, actually. So where the kids, the students, the participants are in the eye of the community, and where they show that they gained knowledge about their identity, and they're happy to share what they found, and the community can benefit also from the grant and from the projects they have been working on.
That's wonderful. Svetlana was not able to join us today because she's actually at her class that she offers for Everett Community College in Russian, but I've worked with her for about 10 years. And a lot of the experience that she's bringing to this, besides her own professional experience from her education in Moscow, is this Star Talk program that we've done at the University of Washington, Russian in the Sky and Outer Space. And you can see some of the students there that are down at the Museum of Flight doing the voyage to Mars that we simulate in Russian, actually. From that, there grew an interest in offering advanced Russian through STEM, science, technology, engineering, math, that she's been offering for several years at the University of Washington to a mixed group of students who are just learners of Russian as well as heritage students. Svetlana's also collaborated with Harvard University on their Star Talk summer grant called Bridges to Russia, Culture and Social Studies. So many of the projects that she's done in all of these programs will be very relevant to our project to our program this year. She'll be bringing a lot of those forward. Now, Pedro, we're so happy he joined us from Seattle Public Schools. And so introduce yourself, Pedro, and tell us a little bit more.
Well, yes, my name is Pedro Lopez Chavez. I started running the dual language program at Chief Self for Seattle Public Schools in 2013. We have been developing, trying to integrate the program into the school. The school is running the IB program. I wanted to offer beyond the IB program something else. So in the 9th grade, the students take the AP Spanish language and culture class. And this opportunity of having the competence certificate and the Global Seal of Biliteracy is, I wouldn't say the culmination like I presented in the slide, but is definitely a higher or an upper level for or an opportunity for some students of the program. Since the program started, the students have been integrated through different programs in the community, working through the global leadership class to teach to the immersion to the students from elementary. They have always also participated in different activities in partnership with the UW. They have a big opportunity to get the state seal of biliteracy, taking the stamp test, or even if they get the highest score in the AP test. But I mean, after the experience, we have been running the program 7 years. This is the 8th year. The students have stepped up. They are taking leadership in the school. They have been recognized with a high achievement and improving performance for Latin students within the last 5 years, like you can read. That has been recognized by the Center of Educational Effectiveness. So all of that recognition and improvement of the heritage learners can be also pushed with this opportunity for the Global Competence Certificate. I mean, I'm so excited that some of them are going to be able to participate, and Chief Self, that is the school, is the school that I can talk about, is recognized as an international school. And maybe that moves forward the whole school, the whole building. I've been pushing for a few years without success, but maybe that moves the staff to try or to think about working with the whole group of students towards creating a portfolio for the Global Competence of Certificate. So let's see how we can use this opportunity for the whole school or for the district. I mean, this is so exciting.
And actually, that was one of the main reasons that we really wanted to include Pedro in this program, because we have a lot of Spanish dual language programs in our state now, but most of them have started more recently. So they are up through elementary school, maybe they're starting middle school, but a lot of schools have not given a lot of thought to what to do in high school. And so we really want to advocate for the lessons we've learned from the model that Pedro has put together at Chief Self, and that these kinds of things that take the language beyond the school and beyond traditional academic topics are things that will really make it interesting and attractive for students to stay with the program. At least we think that's true, and we'll find out. Hopefully we can come back again and talk to you all again in the future. So in summary, I think you've kind of gotten the sense that we expect to meet our heritage learners where they are at. We want them to be who they are. We will be interviewing students and all. They do have to have they have to have strong speaking skills, and they have to have enough literacy that they can manage to work with this content, but we are prepared for students and a variety of proficiency levels. We're going to do everything we can to make the learning meaningful, engaging, and accessible. And we expect the students to become active on autonomous learners, because their Global Competence Certificate, each one will be unique. It will be that student's reflection of who they are and how they want to share themselves. We'll be using project-based learning throughout. And of course, the classes will be offered in the heritage language. So then a lot of students who haven't really had that kind of extra high quality input because they've heard the language at home, but maybe they haven't really heard it on academic topics or adult kinds of topics, they'll have an opportunity to do that. Here is the contact information for our lead instructors. And we just again want to thank you so much for joining us here today. And I'd love it if each person would maybe make a final parting comment, if you don't mind.
Well, I will start. This is Roseanne again. In my own case, I grew up with a Serbian Croatian. My father was Serbian, my mother was Croatian. And the fact that it was spoken at home, I was one of the last of 10 kids. I was number 8. So I was into English, but I was hearing it at home, and it gave me a real boost when I decided to get a master's in East European Studies, and I had to have 2 languages. I already had Russian. I had taught Russian. But I then was able to, get into the Serbo-Croatian or Croato-Serbian very easily. And I can say that being familiar with many of the ethnic communities in the Puget Sound area of Washington State, that there is just a real hunger. And it's interesting, especially the newer immigrants who have come to work in high-tech places. They really want their kids to hang on to the language. So I'm just really pleased that Ethnic Heritage Council has an opportunity. I hope that we're starting this and that it will continue every single year and add more languages along the way, because I know this is something that all parents and grandparents want to happen for their kids.
Ryan, do you want to go next?
Sure. Well, again, as I said before, as a member of the World Affairs Council team, we're really excited to partner with the different organizations here as part of this particular project, as well as the Evergreen School District. I'm also a high school teacher, and I know the value that this kind of project-based learning can provide students when they really reflect on their global learning, and that global learning can be inside the classroom walls, or it can certainly be outside. So I'm really thankful to be part of this team and excited about what the students will create over the course of this school year.
And I might add that, Ryan and I are in communication with World Affairs Councils around the country. I have colleagues that are state supervisors for language in other states that work closely with their World Affairs Council. And we're hoping this might be a model that other World Affairs Councils would like to take national too. Otilia? You have to unmute.
Sorry about that. So first of all, I could say a few words about coming from Romania, being raised in Europe, where we grow up hearing many languages. So I think the gift of being multilingual, bilingual is amazing. And we need to take advantage of the fact that we have so many heritage communities in our state that can benefit from such programs and can enrich the future generation. It has tremendous advantages. It offers flexibility, the level of cognition, and they are the workforce for tomorrow. They're global workforce for tomorrow. So I think I'm very excited to be part of this. And also at the personal level, because I'm part of the Romanian community, where I see that the language is being lost because there's not many opportunities to practice it. And once the kids go to school, they kind of have this avoidance behavior because the input from schools is not to know several languages. I'm also a French teacher, so I truly believe in the impact that learning a language, first of all, if it's your heritage language, it's perfect, but it can be a second language or a third language. We don't need to be scared of learning as many languages as possible. So I'm very excited to be part of the team and to have such a global outreach, through our partnerships. Thank you again.
Thank you. Pedro, I will give you the last word.
Okay, that's great. Well, on one hand, as an AP Spanish and Spanish language and culture teacher, I'm excited because I'm very oriented to teaching culture, make connections, students to learn from different perspectives and respect other cultures and other ways of living. So for me, being part of this Global Competence Certificate program and project is very exciting. On the other hand, also having students who are very engaged and willing to apply and participate from Chief CEL, international school, and also being that group of students of color, that makes me very proud of them. And I mean, very excited and ready to start with them, pushing and supporting them and encouraging them to do a good job.
Well, thank you very much, Global C.R.E.D, for hosting our session. And we're very excited. We hope we can come back and report again. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.